I don't know what to do. Should we open a service?
Yeah, well, did you see the message from Joseph?
No, I haven't seen
No.
it. Why, what's it
Bring
say?
the folk in and explain in chat.
Okay.
So you need to get this sorted out.
Should we'll do service number 2. Hello everybody, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom everybody. Just an apology here, we have no sound coming through from Dean's desk, so we're going to go mute. We're going to go mute. Oh. I don't think I'm heard at all.
Recording in progress.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Hi, this is Michael, and I'll be leading the service tonight. Unfortunately, at the moment, Dean's desk is not working the microphone, so we're just going to do some sound checking here, and we'll come back with you in a moment. All right.
Fine. When you say me, which one's me? Do you mean the voice or the guitar? Okay. How do you know which lead is which?
Would you like to light candles? Annabelle did it 2 weeks ago.
All channels unmuted on there. Yeah. Okay. All groups unmuted. All settings unmuted.
There's no meetings on.
That's a good one. Should we start with that?
Can you tap that one, Dean? The other one?
Yeah, we're all good. Well, they haven't come to the sound.
How are we going to do this?
You don't know.
Let's
Well, I mean, I could stand there.
Can you ask Joseph if Dean's voice is coming through down on that mic?
Check, 1, 2. Should do.
Okay, if we now start saying or playing.
So you're going to have to redo Dean's camera. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Can you move your desk across, or do you know that?
That's fine. We're not going to do Yiddish message.
That's okay.
It's in service too, that's why I mentioned.
Oh, should we not do service?
Huh?
Should we not do service?
No, it's fine. It's fine. But I mean, jump around to the Kabbalat and Ish. Yeah.
Let's do service 5, seeing it's the 5th month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you right with that?
Yeah, fine. Yep, lovely. We never do service stuff. Great. Page 88.
Okay. Who's lighting the candles? Dalma, are you going to light the candles for us? Yeah. Paul, have you got a shot on the candles?
Yeah.
Down here?
There.
Right, but we're going to introduce ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Are we done? We're ready to go. Okay, can you unmute, Paul? Yeah. Okay. If I can be heard, that's fine. Right, let's try this again. Can everybody hear me now? Have a wave of hands if you can hear me. Oh, excellent. I'm very happy with that. Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and many apologies for that. It's for some reason our sound has gone completely AWOL from Dean's desk, so Dean is still the other side of a screen from me, but is using the second microphone from this desk, so I'm going to try that. And you'll probably hear him slightly less well than you do usually, but it should be okay. We thought we would do service 5, which is on page 88. And shall we start with Shalom Aleichem? And we were going to begin with Shalom Aleichem, which is not on page 88, which is on page 76. This evening we're going to ask Dalma to light the candles for us. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. There are days when we seek material things and measure failure by what we do not own.
On the Sabbath, we wish not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature with reckless greed.
On the Sabbath, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation.
There are days when we think only of ourselves.
On the Sabbath, we open our hearts to the needs and rights of others.
Shine.
Great are your works, eternal God.
How very deep your thoughts.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm,
Grow tall like the cedar of Lebanon.
planted in the house of the Eternal One.
They shall flourish in the courts of our God.
They shall still bear fruit in old age,
They shall ever be fresh and green.
proclaiming that God is just.
My rock, in whom there is no flaw.
go to the Baruch Hu, just wanted to say, if you're at home and you're hearing some harmonies going on in the synagogue, you might have received the email that came out today to say that people in the congregation now can sing behind their masks. Well, some singing is going on behind masks, which is really nice, and it's changed, so you might be getting some rich harmonies from our huge congregation here to add to the harmonies that you're bringing us from home. Let's turn on page 92 to the Baruch Hu. We praise you, Eternal One, our God, Sovereign of the universe, whose word brings on the evening, whose wisdom opens heaven's gates, whose understandings changes times and seasons, and whose will sets the stars in their courses in the sky. You make day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light. You make the day pass and bring on the night, and separate day from night. You rule the hosts of heaven. We praise you, O God, whose word makes evening fall.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amech Avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Akein Adonai Eloheinu b'shomteinu, Umeinu nasiya b'chukecha, v'nizmach v'divrei toratecha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki ein chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, ובהם נגד יומם ולילה, נגד יומם ולילה. באהבתך אל תעזוב, ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. אוהב עמו ישראל.
Let's turn to the Shema on page 94 and stand if you want to, and please join me. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווה היום על לבביך. ושנמתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך וביתך ולכתך בדרך ובשופטך ובקומך. שאתם אות להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך. והטלתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
All this we hold to be true and sure. You alone, Eternal One, are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You have freed us from oppressors and delivered us from tyrants. You led us out of Egypt forever to serve you in freedom. When we witnessed your power, we praised your name and gave thanks. Willingly, we accepted your rule. Then, full of joy, we sang together. Fada Adonai et Yaakov, ugolo miad hazak mimenu, Baruch ata Adonai, Gaal Yisrael. Page 97. Stand if you want to for the tefillah, the central prayer of our service. I understand you're not hearing me loudly enough, so I'll speak up. It's not usual that people say I'm too quiet, so I'll try and speak up a little bit. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol v'Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Golmel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocheh Hasdei Avot ve'Imot, Umevi gula lifnei v'neihem lema'an shemo b'yahava. Melech ozer u'Mashiach magen, Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומרין הגשם, מזריח השמש ומרית הטל. מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומחכה ממותו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך? מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיע ישוע. ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה המתים. קדוש אתה ונורא שמך, ואין לנו אלוה מבלעדיך. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. Please. We thank you, O God, for this Sabbath day, which calls us to a closer communion with you. Though you are near to us at all times, you reveal your presence most clearly when we direct our thoughts towards you in worship and meditation. In you, O God, our humanity is exalted. You are our life. From you comes its greatness, its power, its beauty. Establish in us, we humbly pray, a devotion to you that shall be firm in all the circumstances of life. May this service renew in our hearts the sense of your presence and bring us peace. I think our online congregation are quite aware that there was dancing in the aisles in FPS tonight, so
it's turning into a rave.
Dean's just said it's turning into a rave. There you go. Oh, we're on page 100. Eloheinu velohei avotenu, ritzei benuchatenu, kadashenu b'mitzvotecha v'ten helkenu b'toratecha, sabenu mituvecha v'samheinu b'shuatecha, v'taheh libenu le'ovdecha be'emet, V'hanhilenu Adonai Eloheinu b'achav v'ratzon Shabbat Kodshecha v'yenuhu v'Yisrael mekadesh shemecha Baruch Ata Adonai mekadesh haShabbat Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu b'yamcha Yisrael v'tivelatam b'achava tikabel v'tihil ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha Baruch Ata Adonai she'otecha levadecha b'yira na'avod. And of course, here we are on, before we read Modim, which we're going to read in English tonight. Let's share in the chat things we're grateful for this week, of which I'm sure there are many. And I look forward to hearing them. They're already started to come in. Oh, what a good thought. Okay, so on page 100, let's read together in the congregation and at home. We give thanks that you, Eternal One, are our God, and you were our God of our ancestors. You are the rock of our life, the power that shields us in every age. We thank and praise you for our lives, which are in your hand, for our souls, which are ever in your keeping, for the signs of your presence we encounter every day, and for your wondrous gifts at all times, morning, noon, and night. We praise you, O God, source of goodness, to whom all thanks are due. So just to share with people here in the congregation what's been shared online, and Bobby's seen her family for the first time in months, which is wonderful. And there's lots of thanks and praise for Dean and his wonderful guitar, which of course we all know so well. And Paul's grateful for my calmness when we had no sound. So there you go. And of course we've all got lots of things that we're all grateful for, and I'm grateful that Paul's doing my job and David's job. It just goes to prove that it does happen in time, that people will learn the jobs to do. So we look forward to there being more of them as we move forward. So with that, let's move to silent prayer. Maybe it's a prayer of further gratitude or prayer for peace, or whatever it is that feels that you would like to give us at this time. So let's have a couple of minutes of silence.
Say shalom Mikroma, Uyama say shalom Aleinu, Be'alko Yisrael, Be'alko B'nei Adam. Say shalom Mikroma, Uyama say shalom Aleinu, Be'alko Yisrael, Be'alko
Maybe my eyes are rimmed and things like that. It's to do with something that's going on in Japan at the moment, which is meaning that I'm staying up till ungodly hours and having the radio on in an earpiece in my ear through the night. And I'm listening or watching the Olympics. And it's who are taking part. People recovering from adversity and illness. There was one of the, I don't know if you saw the women's triathlon, the British woman who got the silver medal. Not only did she break a bone in her foot 4 months ago, in between that and now she got COVID, and then to add insult to injury, she got a blowout on her rear tyre halfway through her, or towards the end of her cycle part of the triathlon. She lost 20 seconds, she was falling way behind the others, yet endurance, perseverance, whatever it was, brought her through to win a silver medal. I say win. She didn't win the race. She came second by a long margin, but it was a victory to get the silver medal. And it got me thinking about what we can do if we put our minds to things. And it got me thinking about what we can achieve. And I think it's always rewarding to hear the stories of these athletes, whether or not you're into sport or not, whether you're into the Olympics or not. And I know that some people are, and many people are not, but nevertheless, it's the fantastic human story that goes behind every participation and every victory and every loss. And sometimes it's the learning from those fantastic stories that is more valuable than watching and seeing the victories or the gold medals. And I just wanted to share that thought before we move to the Aleinu, because I think it's something really powerful. So let us turn to the Aleinu on page 520. And please keep smiling at me on the screen, because it's wonderful, because you know that we're all smiling here too.
Aleinu l'shavea l'adon hakol, l'tekenu la le'yotzer bereshit, asher samte alkeinu le'yahed et shemo, v'mor aleinu le'hamlik malchuto, v'mor aleinu
page 522. The growing good of the world is partly dependent on unhistoric acts, and that things are not so ill with you and me as they might have been is half owing to the number who lived faithfully a hidden life and rest in unvisited tombs. At this time in our congregation, we mark the passing of Miriam Bixer, whose funeral took place today. Miriam will be missed by many of us. For me personally, it's the passing of a time as the last of my first teachers, and I think that Josie might even say the same thing for her, and Paul too. So Miriam will be sadly missed by us all. We mark in the synagogue the yahrzeits of John Green, husband of Anita Green, Katie Wall, the aunt of Leslie Oberth, and Magdalena Reichman, the grandmother of Dalma, who's with us here in the sanctuary today. Even when they are gone, the departed are with us. They inspire us to live as, in their higher moments, they themselves sought to live. We remember them now. They remain in our hearts. They are a continual blessing. We turn on page 524 to the Kaddish. Yit gadal v'yit gadash shemei rabbah v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malhutei b'chayechon v'yomeichon v'vayhei d'chol beit Yisrael v'agalal v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah merach v'yalam amei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithada v'yithalal v'yithalel lal shemei kadesha barichu leila min kol bechata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechmata da min ram v'alma v'imru amen Yehei shlama rabba min shamayim v'hayei aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. O say shalom bimrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'yal kol b'nei Adam, v'imru. Amen. So there are going to be no announcements tonight, save the fact that Rebecca will be back with us tomorrow morning for the service, and hopefully we will have the sound sorted out before then, and hope to welcome some, any, or all of you then as well. Dean,
I'll be here. No.
Dean will be here. More rocking in the aisles. We're finishing with Yivarech,
Yes.
which is on somewhere or another. Dean, over to you.
Okay, we don't have the entire text. But yes, it's some. Oh, you'll find it on page 563. You'll find part
563. We should know it by now because we
Yes.
struggle with this every week.
Yes. Elohim, Ephraim, Bekimen Hashem, Yesim Elohim, Kesara, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. Yivarech Adonai
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for your nice comments in the chat. Is my wine arriving? Thank you, Dalma. Let's make Kiddush together. I think Dean's got something in his glass.
I have.
You have indeed. Over to you.
Okay, if you want to follow along, you can find it on page 564. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lama'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom tehila, lemikraye kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Ki banu v'achata, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha'shabbat.
And again, another little note. For those of you that only come to services on Friday nights on Zoom, and you suddenly are aware that the Kiddush cup is arrived on Dean's desk and the chalot have arrived here on the rabbi's desk, we've got the choreography of that just perfect now, and we get it done right, so nobody gets to see when those arrive. So thank you for those of you that helped out here tonight. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. And enjoy your chalot at home. We don't do it here. These go back in the freezer for next week. They're dummies.
Oh, you gave it away.
They know.
So much for the
know.
magic of television.
Yeah, it's a trade secret. I shouldn't have said that.
Oh, no, you're fired.
So please unmute yourself. Oh no, it's all good.
Personal rabbi and missionaries.
Oh, right, yes. It's like us coming around your front room and.
Oh, it's gone.